Developers.
In 1980, a 24-year-old American dropped out of school and started hustling as an ordinary employee at Microsoft, earning a salary of $50,000 per year. Fast forward 2 decades later, and this guy has made well over $100 billion, becoming the 10th richest person in the world while still working a 9-to-5. However, his journey is filled with unexpected setbacks, and at one point, he failed so badly that his leadership led Microsoft to its lowest point. In this video, we'll explore the real-life story of Steve Ballmer, Microsoft's best salesman of all time. Born in Detroit, Michigan, Steve Ballmer's early life was marked by humble beginnings in an average family. Growing up, he attended Harvard University, where he met the future billionaire Bill Gates. At the time, both were ambitious young men, unaware of the incredible impact they'd have in the world of tech. After graduating from Harvard with a degree in mathematics and economics, Ballmer embarked on a conventional career path, joining Procter & Gamble, where he developed his skills in sales and brand management, setting a solid foundation for his future. His career took a brief turn when he returned to school, enrolling in an MBA program at Stanford University. However, this academic pursuit would be short-lived. During his first year at Stanford, Bill Gates reached out to Ballmer with an opportunity that would change his life forever. At the time, Ballmer was struggling to make ends meet while posing as a student with a few part-time jobs. Meanwhile, Bill Gates was already making waves with his software company, so Gates told Ballmer to abandon his MBA studies and join Microsoft. At the time, software was still a developing industry, largely unfamiliar to the masses, and the decision seemed loaded with risk. But Ballmer saw the potential and made the move, leaving Stanford to become Microsoft's 30th employee, a decision that would later become the key to his fortune. In 1980, Steve Ballmer decided to join his Harvard classmate Bill Gates at Microsoft. At the age of 24, he was hired as the company's first business manager with a base salary of just $50,000 per year. But Ballmer also received a share of the revenue growth he'd helped generate and an 8% equity in the company, which would later be worth billions. His initial role at Microsoft was humble, and his primary duties include fetching coffee and donuts for the team. That same year, Ballmer decided to take charge of the company's operating system division, which was a critical component of Microsoft's core operations. One of his earliest and most significant challenges came when IBM approached Microsoft to develop an operating system for their new line of computers. Ballmer, with his sales skills, took charge of that crucial deal. Within his first year, Ballmer played a massive role in securing a landmark contract with IBM to supply the operating system for their computers. His efforts were instrumental in positioning Microsoft as a key player in the software industry. Less than a decade later, Microsoft went public in 1986, becoming one of the most promising companies of that era. As Microsoft became more successful over the years, so did Ballmer's career. That year, Ballmer's stake and leadership in the company made him a multi-millionaire. And in the following years, he rose through the ranks at Microsoft, holding multiple roles that helped Microsoft become a tech giant.
How much do you think this advanced operating environment is worth? Wait just 1 minute before you answer. Watch as Windows integrates Lotus 123 with Miami Vice.
And in 1992, he was appointed Executive Vice President of Support and Sales. And then 8 years later, in 2000, Ballmer took over as CEO, becoming the second ever leader of Microsoft. He was also named President of Microsoft in 1988, which was a role he held until 2001. Under his leadership, Microsoft experienced a remarkable surge in profitability. Ballmer's tenure saw the company's annual revenue triple to nearly $78 billion, and profits soared to $22 billion in his final fiscal year as CEO. However, despite these achievements, Microsoft's stock did not fully reflect its dominance in the industry at that time. Ballmer's leadership style was often described as unorthodox, and he was sometimes labeled a lunatic or loose cannon by his critics. Over his 14-year tenure, Ballmer was instrumental in advancing Microsoft's enterprise strategy, launching the original Xbox and investing heavily in cloud technology. Under his leadership, the company expanded into search engines with Bing and acquired Skype, which became a major player in internet communication. But to this day, many people still hold negative opinions on Ballmer's leadership antics and whether he was effective or not. Even though Ballmer is considered Microsoft's best salesman, he didn't get everything right. Like the time he said the iPhone was too expensive and it wouldn't appeal to business people because it didn't have a keyboard. During Ballmer's leadership, Microsoft struggled to keep up with emerging areas such as mobile devices, search, and social media. Critics argued that Ballmer's focus on sales came at the expense of innovation, with several products including the Zoom digital media player designed to compete with the Apple iPod, highlighting Microsoft's struggle to stay ahead. While Steve Ballmer might be considered one of the craziest CEOs in big tech, there's no denying the fact that he was one of the best salesmen, likely the greatest salesman in the history of Microsoft. So we analyzed his time at Microsoft and found the top 3 sales lessons that made Ballmer so effective. Number 1, speak their language. Generally, Steve Ballmer was known for his larger-than-life personality, but behind the spectacle was a deep understanding of his audience, a critical lesson in sales. He knew that selling isn't just about pushing a product, it's about connecting with the people you're selling to by speaking their language. At a 2006 Windows conference, Ballmer famously roared,
Developers, 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 developers.
This wasn't just a wild outburst, it was a rally cry. Ballmer knew his audience of developers in the crowd were the lifeblood of Microsoft's future. Without them creating applications for their platform, Windows would lose its competitive edge. But Ballmer wasn't just a one-note performer. When he met with corporate executives, he shifted gears entirely. Instead of chanting about developers, he spoke about people, people, people. The switch was strategic. Ballmer understood that these business leaders didn't care about technical jargon, they cared about people, results, and bottom-line impact. They were responsible for making decisions that affected entire organizations, and their concerns were different from those of developers. When asked about the change in approach, Ballmer explained that selling technology to an executive was a complex process. Decisions within a company involve multiple stakeholders, end users, central IT, business leaders, and department heads like sales and finance. His job wasn't just to sell to the executives in the room, he had to equip them with the right narrative so they could go back and sell the idea internally to their teams. Number 2, belief and enthusiasm. Since Microsoft was founded in the late 1970s, no one embodied Microsoft's spirit more than Steve Ballmer. Not even Bill Gates. Steve Ballmer's enthusiasm wasn't just a part of his personality, it was core to his success as a leader and a salesman. His belief in the company wasn't just about loving the product, it was about embodying the mission to the point where his passion became infectious. Ballmer's energy was impossible to ignore. He was known for his on-stage outbursts, like the time he famously screamed,
I love this company, yeah!
His commitment to Microsoft was so intense, reports surfaced of him throwing a chair across the room in frustration over a key employee leaving to join Google. Number 3, learn how to tell a story. Steve Ballmer often highlighted storytelling as one of the most underrated yet crucial skills in business. In fact, during a commencement speech at USC, he stressed that the ability to craft and deliver a story is key to communicating the true value of an idea, product, or vision. For Ballmer, storytelling wasn't about spinning tales around a campfire. It was about presenting ideas in a way that made their value immediately clear and compelling to others. In every business, it's easy to focus on the what the product does, what features it has, what benefits it offers. What Ballmer understood was that people are far more likely to connect with the why your product matters, why it solves a problem, why they should care. The art of storytelling is about translating complex, often technical ideas into something relatable, digestible, and inspiring for your audience. For Ballmer, a story wasn't just about a linear narrative, it was a tool to simplify and clarify. In the end, the most successful business and salespeople are those that can tell a story of why their product or idea matters, just like Ballmer did for Microsoft throughout his career. And if you like sales strategies like this, don't forget to subscribe to The Follow-Up at jointhefollowup.com, where we send out sales tips, strategies, and stories like this every Tuesday and Thursday. Following his retirement in 2014, Steve Ballmer made headlines with the monumental purchase of the NBA's Los Angeles Clippers, which he acquired for a staggering $2 billion. Ballmer's post-Microsoft years have been marked by significant philanthropic efforts. He is the co-founder of the Ballmer Group, an organization dedicated to addressing societal barriers and fostering opportunities throughout the various stages of a young person's life. In addition to his philanthropic ventures, Ballmer established USA Facts, a non-profit organization and free online resource designed to help users track and comprehend U.S. government revenue and expenditures. Complementing the website, the podcast Numbers Geek, produced in partnership with USA Facts, explores a wide range of topics from educational to politics, featuring discussions with leaders across business, technology, and entertainment. In 2018, Ballmer further demonstrated his commitment to social impact by investing $59 million in Social Solutions, a company that develops software for nonprofits and government agencies, enhancing their ability to manage and measure their efforts effectively. Now, looking back at his journey, Ballmer's leadership was instrumental in Microsoft's future success. Today, Microsoft stands as the 13th largest company on the Fortune 500 list, with a market cap of $3.2 trillion, making it the most valuable company in the world, depending on what day you look. Still today, Ballmer retains an estimated 4.5% stake in Microsoft, benefiting from the company's continued growth and most recently, their strategic investment in OpenAI. In 2021, he became the 9th richest person globally to report a net worth exceeding $100 billion. As of June 2024, Bloomberg Billionaires Index estimated his personal wealth is around $147 billion, making him the 7th richest person in the world. Unlike most billionaires who built empires from the ground up, he is the only one to have amassed such wealth purely through employment rather than entrepreneurship. So what do you think about Steve Ballmer? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth business stories like this.